Hi, Joe Doyle here. As a former bricklayer turned property investor, I would not be where I am today if I didn't first learn the art of business. Nowadays, a big part of my life is helping other tradesmen grow their business and create wealth by sharing my knowledge, insights and experience. Welcome to the Tradesman Survival Guide podcast. All of the strategies discussed in my podcasts are taken directly from my book, The Tradesman Survival Guide, which is available at www.joedoyle.ie/TSG. TSG, of course, being Tradesman Survival Guide.
Hello.
Well, Nicky, are we winning today, my friend?
Not too bad, Joe.
Let's dive in here. How has things been since we last spoke?
Took a bit of your advice on board and went to a few of the customers over the price increases and all that, and just told them, listen, everything's gone up stupidly, so I'm going to have to put the price onto your price going forward. And everyone agreed, so that all went well. Brilliant.
Did you lose any jobs over
it? Not yet.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah, and then I also had the accountant in here in the office yesterday for 3 hours going over basically all the business costings and all that type of thing, and we have it literally down to the daily and hourly rate cost per man now going forward for the next year. Let's say we took into consideration the cost of overheads for the year.
Brilliant. Do you know what your daily break-even point is now?
Yeah, €210 per man.
Okay, so each man needs to bring in 210 to cover his wages and overhead, is it?
Yeah, so the entire company's overheads for the year, wages, every overhead you can think of, we went through it with a fine-tooth comb yesterday, and it's 210 per day per man, which is €26 an hour, €26.16 an hour, I suppose, is the overhead. So if I'm charging a lad out, I'd be charging him maybe €35 an hour if you're going for the hourly rate, but you'd need to be covering yourself for 26. But that's diesel, toll bridges, rent on the building, all the van costs, wages costs, accountancy costs, every cost.
Actually, let me grab a calculator on that, because I want to run these calcs with you while we're chatting here as well. So that's good. Yeah. So it's 210 per man per day.
Yeah.
Divide that by 8, it's 26.25. Yeah. And that's just your break-even point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about the guys that are on more?
Yeah, they'd be higher. So that's your average. So
okay, average. Okay, so we stick with the average. That's good enough. How many staff do we have?
That was based on 18 people. So I have 3 lads. I have 3 lads starting with me now next week. So we ran the numbers with the 18 of us in total. We divided by the 46 weeks of the year between the bank holidays and then builders' holidays, and then 5 days of the week and 8 hours a day, and that's how we got a figure.
Brilliant. That's good. You know what, I think there might be something hiding in that a little bit.
Yeah?
Is if you have times when we don't have any men employed, or we don't have as many employed. So it might be worthwhile to run a set. Now this is just, look, you have a good understanding of the numbers here, so I can dive into this level of detail with you. It might be worthwhile to look at what the annual, monthly, weekly and daily overheads are for the business, excluding wages.
Yes, I have all that here in front of me.
Savage.
Now, I don't have it individually broke down, but if I took the wage bill off, the wage bill is looking at 676,000 it would be for the year. If I took that off it, then I would have me overheads. But then again, the diesel cost is going to go down, the toll bridge cost is going to go down. There's other associated costs that will go down when the number of employees changes.
Yes, that makes sense, yeah.
Even the accountant's cost goes down because I'm charged per
on the
employee
payroll and all that.
And all that type of stuff.
Have you factored in your desired monthly or your desired yearly profit? Like 18 men is a lot of bodies, like, so you'd want to be making substantial profits at that.
Yes, so we put in that we want to turn over. Well, the target now is going forward with that crew, with the shop open. We want to turn over just under 1,750,000 is the target. And we're going to reverse that back then and going through with the boys here in the shop now tomorrow of our monthly sales target. So myself and the accountant went over all this yesterday, found out our total overheads going forward since we opened the shop. including internet, electricity, all the stuff with the shop. And then we reverse engineered that to our cost, and now we're going to go and have our sales target per week and per month, just whether it's building or sales in the shop. We have a set target that we want to get every week. And
so
have
see that 1.75. Do we know what margin we're going to get off that?
Yes, we're aiming for 30%.
30%. So
he kind of said the rule of thumb should be always a third for profit, a third for overheads and wages, and a third for materials. It's kind of the way he usually works it.
Right. So we're aiming for 525 for $500,000 profit in the year, which sounds a lot, Nicky, right? But like, bear in mind, there's a lot of men there, and you've got a big you're running a big machine here, you know.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is you're gonna have a number ingrained in your head, which is probably that 210 per man, right? What I would probably suggest to you here, and just even talk to the accountant about that. This is just all learning, you know. If we take our desired profit, which is 525, divide that by 52, which is 10,096 a week, and divide that by 18 men.
Yeah.
So that's 560 per week per man.
And
then divide that again by the day, so it's 112. So actually, that's a beautiful number there. So it's 333 per day.
So 333 per day
per man
would be what per man to charge out at.
Yes, which is not bad. That's cheap.
That's what I mean. It's not. If you said to some woman there in the house and said, "Listen, I'm charging 333 quid for that man for the day," she might tell you to get out the door. But when you're pricing a job and you're giving them the total price, you know, they won't see that individual figure. So it's not too bad to get, and that's why I do the average. Because it's easy when there's a lad there and, you know, a general labourer, you're getting paid the same for a fella earning 100 quid a day. Yeah. They are making, you know, once I make the average throughout the year, it's all the same to me.
Yeah, you know what? It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? 333 per day, like.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But you know what I found, right? You know the way we use our make or break system, and to be honest, look, at your company's a bit bigger than most of them, so you know maybe you'll end up using a version of our make or break and a version of what your accountant has given you there, right?
Yeah.
But what I found is we used to have our break-even point only including our overheads and our running costs. Yeah. And then when I started intertwining and not allowing the profit to be considered as an optional extra, lads just hit the target. So if you were going in your head 30 or 210 per man per day plus, you know, it's plus whatever, that's you'll always fixate on that 210 plus. But if you just fixate on a minimum of 333
plus,
a minimum. That's what I'm saying. A minimum of 333 per man per day. That's going to allow you to hit your weekly, monthly, and annual targets.
Yeah.
And that's good going. And then, you know, maybe this time next year you'll, you know, when you've hit your target, you'll review and you'll say, right, well, which men in that are doing that more than others? Is it a shop or is it a site work or whatever, you know?
I took your advice through our last phone call there. You wrote me out a little bit for doing the €10 and €100 task. So I'm definitely now from Monday on staying in the office 3 days a week. I'm actually not even going to give myself a van. I'm going to make sure I can't leave the bloody office for those 3 days because like that new lad I was telling you about, that new builder starting with me Monday. So he's only after leaving here. That's what I was talking to, going over the schedule for next week. So he's going to be looking after most of the stuff that I would have been looking after. And it's going to allow me then to be in the office and start individually keeping a record of the jobs, what men's doing what job did we price, how long did it take versus what we priced. So after a month or two, I'll be able to sit back and say, well, yeah, we priced 10 working days and that job, it took 11 or it took 9, and steady the ship a bit, see where you need to turn.
Yes, exactly. And you can't do that when you're off driving a truck or delivering skimming and all that nonsense, you know. And I hope you didn't mind me kind of having that conversation with you the last day.
I'd be giving out to myself for doing it.
Right, yeah, well, at least you know both me and you can give out to you over doing it. Going forward. But it's just that your eye is not on the ball. It's as simple as that. You know, your eye cannot be on the ball if you're doing those other bits. And even like in our office here, you know, we've got our Facebook side of things and we've got the property side of things. Paddy is all over the property side of things, and if he wasn't all over it, I would need to be all over it, which meant I wouldn't have I wouldn't have the time to focus on this business, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, look, you're doing the right thing there. Get rid of the fucking van, everything. Buy yourself a nice pair of shoes. Go out and buy the most expensive pair of shoes you can get this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, so I won't go on to any building sites.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. You know, it's the only way. I'll tell you a story another day about a lad changing his shoes, and he was just very simple, very quickly. He was we made a bit of a joke saying, wear them shoes. I met him on a Sunday. Wear them shoes out on site the next day because you won't get them dirty. And he was more standing back looking. And at the end of the day, he'd sacked the fella because he could then see what all his men were doing, and you realised one fella was just a fucking nuisance, you know.
Yeah,
and then the running joke was, when this fella has his new shoes on, be careful, you know. But just gear up to run the company as opposed to be a worker in the company.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I was kind of transitioning over with all the lockdowns, I suppose, the last year and there really. I was gearing up to do it last summer, and so between the shit that happened and then all the lockdowns, I'm only getting around to it now. We only get open there the 8th of June, so we kind of are on top of it now, and that's what I'm doing, taking a step back from, I suppose, the daily running of the physical side of things and more just looking after the office.
Brilliant, yeah. And this seems to be a good guy that you're at the hiring there, the new guy. He'll be a key man on site for you, won't he?
Yeah, but not only that, the amount of volume of work that he's already after putting across my desk, because he's local here, building 25, 30 years, and he never bothered really going big himself. I think he was just content enough tipping away. I think he was physically doing the work himself. As I said, a very good builder, but he probably turned down 3-4 times the amount of work that he was doing, whereas now I have the manpower behind it. He's just putting the work across the desk, and we're pricing them. But we won't be able to do all that's coming, but we're pricing them a bit higher than, let's say, we'd need. If we needed the job, we're pricing them because we don't need them, and if we get a couple out of it. So that value alone, you know, it nearly cover his wages.
Yeah, and he's probably happy now that he can just do what he loves doing best without having to worry about the business side of things.
Yeah, and also then he's 61, and his arms and shoulders, like he's telling me that, like the body's broke up for the last 25, 30 years doing all the pulling and dragging, and he should still be lifting steel RSJs and everything. And I kind of said to him the last year or two, I said, look, I'll give you a little Volkswagen caddy van there and a notebook, and you can go around surveying and pricing jobs and making material lists, run my jobs. And I said, you don't have to do any of that grunting yourself. And Brilliant. So he's coming around to the idea.
That's great. I know a few of them old boys, man. They are absolute machines, aren't they, Bo?
Yeah.
You know, they are, like, and no complaining out of them, just get on with it, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what he's done, and now the body's given up.
Yes, exactly. No, so it's good timing, and I find all these things they seem to be coming together for you nicely. Like, we got to know each other, I think, at the right time for your business. You've got this lad in the door here now as well, at the right time for your business. Lockdown is over for now, anyways, and I think we're through with most of it. And you've got all this money built up where people want to get their homes renovated, and plus you've got your renovation centre done. So give us a little insight into that. Where is that again, Nicky?
In Drogheda County Louth, the No Business Park, Drogheda County Louth. Are
you far off a motorway up there, are you?
No, literally 2 minutes from the motorway, beside Fantasia Water Park. You literally can't, my business plan was to take this building at the corner of the car park that from May, June, July and August, usually without the coronavirus, the Fantasia Water Park, the place to be chock-a-block for 4 months of the year. So from an advertising point of view, you'd have a massive car park all day, every day, full. Now, people mightn't call into you when they're going in the water park, but they'd at least see the building and say, we must call in there.
Yes.
So that's why we kind of took this location.
And what are you doing in that building? I know we spoke about it a few different times, but so it's a renovation centre as opposed to...
The Home Renovation Centre is the name of the building. And the idea is you come in the door, and if you want to gut a house from top to bottom, you can pick everything you need to redo it in here. Like from tiles, doors, floors, bathroom suites, kitchens, wardrobes, internal doors, windows and doors for your front door, your front windows. We have displays of all your exterior types of render, like wet dash and decay rends. We've a composite, want to have a composite display, so your composite deck and composite fence panels. So effectively, my customers from my existing building clients, they can come in here and pick everything that they want us to put in their job, obviously buy it off us as well. but it saves them having to trek around to 5 different tile shops, 2 different kitchen shops, 4 different floor shops. They just tell us what they want, and if we haven't got it on display, we get it for them and have it here when they book an appointment to call down. So,
oh, nice. Serious convenience, like.
Yeah, because everyone now has 2 or 3 young kids, and I noticed the last 2 years in our existing jobs, you need the bathroom suite or the tiling, and you're asking them for a month before the job starts that they pick their tiles. Oh, yeah, we get round to it, and 2 days before you need them, they still haven't got them.
Yes.
But we only opened, as I said, in June the 8th, and already now for 3 or 4 active conversions that we're doing, I've brought customers down and they've picked out tiles, sanitary ware, but also they're upselling. So I allowed a standard, I allowed 15 quid a PC sum for tiles, but when they come down and actually see the showroom, sure, some of them are spending an extra grand, an extra 500 because the women see the stuff and they want it. So I'm upselling as well as making it convenient for them.
Very good, yeah. That's great. And like the thing is, if they're going to be buying the materials anyways, they may as well buy them off you. Sure, you're doing everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice, and that would give peace of mind as well now, because like if I was hiring Nicky to do a job and not the conversion as I said there or whatever, it suit me that he's supplied everything, therefore he's responsible for everything.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, there's a problem here with this or that, and that's where I think where the hassle starts on jobs as time goes on, when the client starts supplying their own materials from substandard
and then they get the
suppliers.
Wrong stuff, and they get the wrong stuff or the wrong size or the wrong colour, and then sure that you've the lad booked in to fit it, and then it's the wrong. You have to book in another day, then it costs you a day's labour.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds good. Yeah. So are you getting the traffic into the premises already, into the renovation centre?
We are, yeah. We've a steady flow of customers, probably 3 to 4 customers a day. Now that doesn't sound like much, but when they're coming in looking for a bathroom renovation price or a feature wall price, or we've another couple of jobs we got previous there. One job was over 20 grand we got from it. Was wall paneling, feature walls, built-in window seats, that type of thing. You don't need 50 customers a day coming in spending a tenner when you've 2 people spending a couple of grand. Like.
Yeah, you're selling high-ticket items.
Yeah. So we've only advertised it on Facebook because, as I said, I've done a soft launch. I'd rather iron out any creases. The place isn't finished in a sense that we're still waiting on suppliers to give us in displays. Now, for the naked eye, when you walk in, you wouldn't know there's stuff missing because it's not a building site, like it's a clean showroom.
Yes.
But we still have stuff to add. So I'm going to wait till we've all that done before I maybe do a local paper ad or put a bit of money behind it. But look, we're busy enough and we're getting enough. I'm happy with the progress since we opened for what I put into it. And
that's very good. And come here. What's the name of your? I know the name of your company is the Heatwave Group, yeah. But like
Heatwave Maintenance Limited is the actual name, registered name of the company. But the trading name I have for the shop is the Home Renovation Centre, and that's what we have above the door. Like.
And what do you have on your vans, or what will you have on your vans?
So the Home Renovation Centre now is on 5 of the vans. Yeah, 5 of the vans have the Home Renovation Centre on them and all the address and details for here. 2 of the vans, 2 of the big crafters then have Heatwave Extensions on it, which is another trading name. We have a house extension showroom in the business park there in Finglas of a full-size house extension. Again, people can come in and look at it, pick their windows, pick their doors, have a variation of that. And the picture of that on 2 of the vans. So 2 of the vans, that business was set up in 2018. That showroom was built in 2018. So that's been feeding us work ever since. And Brilliant. Feeding us with 3 times the amount of extensions we could build over the last couple of years.
That's great. And are we gonna rebrand right across the board as the Home Renovation Centre, or are we gonna keep the 2 brands going?
No, because I'm happy with all the branding is the same. So the same logo, same colouring on the vans. In actual fact, customers even commented to me, they never even noticed there was 2 different types of van outside until I pointed it out to them. Because the colouring, the stickers, the letters, everything except for the Home Renovation Centre versus Heatwave Extensions is the same contact number, same logo, everything. And they actually never copped until you pointed out to them. So, I'm happy with the amount of works coming from the Heatwave Extensions. And then that showroom has its own 2 vans advertising for the extension showroom, which we haven't got in the main shop.
Yeah, okay, that's good, yeah. And what about the website? Home Renovation Centre, is it?
Home Renovation Centre.ie.
Brilliant. Is it their Home Renovation Centre or just Home Renovation Centre?
No, their Home Renovation Centre.ie.
Brilliant. Did you buy both the main names? Did you buy the there and then the one without there?
No, there's a place in Cork to have Home Renovation Centre. So I just have my actual registered business trade name is the Home Renovation Centre. That's the website we got, and then we have the same for Facebook.
Right, oh, that's grand. Well, at least your man's miles away. He's not going to be competing with you anyways.
No.
Yeah, and what does he do the with the similar name?
Something similar.
Right.
A slightly smaller setup. It looks like an old renovated house with a small building out the back of it, but it's something similar, kitchens and bathrooms, and I don't know if they do the bigger side of things, because they're in Cork. As you said, they're not competing with me, so I didn't really look too much into it. It was only when I was searching the names for the websites and Facebook that they kept coming up, so that's the only reason why I know them.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, but it's a good name either way, like.
Well,
it says
two accountants tried to tell me that the name was gone. Oh, that name's too obvious.
Who said that?
Name is gone. 2 accountants. Before I found me existing accountant, I went in to register the 2 company names. This was 4 or 5 years ago before I went out on my own. And they tried to tell me, no, that name's gone. And literally wouldn't even search. I said, tell you the name's not gone. I checked the CRO website myself. And they said the name's too obvious, the Home Renovation Centre. Sure, everyone would have thought of that name. But no one did.
They didn't even bother checking, did they?
They didn't even bother checking. No, just told him literally he wouldn't even entertain me at the door. I said, right, fair enough, and went to a different accountant and got it registered. And then I registered one online myself, but I even registered me now with the CRO.
You registered everything with the CRO, did you?
Yeah, I registered the name with the business name with the CRO, the Central Registration Office, and that, so it's registered to me now personally.
Do you need to take that call there, do you?
No, it's the shop phone.
Oh, is it? Long may it keep ringing, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
It's actually even weird hearing the landline. I don't know, like, places.
Sorry?
It's weird even hearing the landline ringing now, you know that?
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, well, there's not that many places like that have landlines as much as, well, not many builders have landlines nowadays because everything's on the phone, you know, everything's on the mobile.
It is. Yeah, no, it's grand because what I'm doing now is I'm going to, from Monday on, I'm going to divert my mobile phone after 6 or 7 rings to the office.
Yes.
So if I'm in talking to a customer or in a meeting or something, someone will get an answer. That's the idea, that they'll get an answer all the time if I'm busy.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's well, actually, you can't do that. What I do always say to the lads is, you know, to cut down on the volume of calls is just change your voice note to say, sorry, I can't take your call right now, but if you send me a text, I'll get back to you. Because normally we have the same people ringing 4 or 5 times, and you know, mentally we think we're getting 5 times the amount of calls that we're getting, you know. But now, my phone, it's great now. My phone never rings. It's absolutely amazing. Like the Facebook and the WhatsApp pops, but the phone never rings. Whereas when I was back in the building company, it was constant all day, every day, and you do need a break from it, don't you?
Yeah, no, that's my biggest time consumer. 100% is the phone.
Is on the phone. Gotcha.
Yeah. And nearly every time you get off the phone, you've a missed call or voice message. The phone might ring for 10 or 15 minutes, and as soon as you get a call or two, then you get another call or two. It's always the way. And
is it clients or lads? Clients or
mixture
staff?
Of all. The clients, suppliers, sales reps, and my own lads then. Although I've started trying to tell my own lads not to ring me.
Yes.
Unless it's a proper emergency. Let me know on your way home every day how the day went. And not only that, that's going to stop them, as you said before, it's going to make them think for themselves before they ring me. Hang on a minute, can I not figure this out for myself? Yeah. Rather than, you know, I'm kind of getting onto them a little bit now. I think we had a conversation about 5 or 6 weeks ago where you were saying I kind of half created that in a sense that I was kind of mollycoddling them and doing everything for them. Whereas then I started pushing more onto them, saying, look, you're a grown fucking man. If you need materials, make your own list. Like, you're the one on the job. If you need an extra 20 lengths of timber, look around and make sure you make a list and then get them on the way home or the next morning.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, no, that's what I find a lot of times. What happens, Nicky, is that, you know, lads that are company owners that are too willing to do too many things.
Yeah, and it's hampering yourself from growing the business. You'd be stuck where you are.
It's turning your staff into like just teenagers.
Yeah.
You know, like they just can't think for themselves. You know, not even teenagers, but turn your staff into kids that can't think for themselves. You know. But look, this is the joys of it. You know. So where do you see the next challenge for yourself that we need to be aware of and tackle in advance, or just keep it coming down the line?
Biggest challenge I think going forward for me, when I was only talking about the smart, I think is materials, cost of materials and availability of materials is the biggest. I can see that's the biggest obstacle now. I think it's going to get to the point where people just won't have the money to. I got a price list this morning, July increases, and it's not 2 or 3% on things. It's 25%, 30%, 18% on basic plywood, OSB, your scan board, all lead, and everything's gone up. And if it's the same every month for the last 3 or 4 months. When's it going to end? I think that's going to be I think people will end up stop doing the jobs because it's going to get too expensive if it keeps going the rate it is.
But what's the alternative then for the clients?
There's no alternative. They just either have to not do the job or pay me or pay someone else. But I think it's going to get to a point where it'll be just unfeasible to do certain jobs because the cost has gone up so much.
Well, you know what? Like, that's already the case. Obviously, I'm out there buying houses, and you know, back in the boom before I got scalded, you know, I was building a few houses, and I haven't ever built any houses since I got back on the horse, as they say, because it's just too expensive. Like, the build cost went through the roof without the house prices going up to match it. Now I know house prices have gone up and all that, but like, you know, most times when I'm buying a house, I'm buying it at less than the cost of building. Yeah,
because of the NZEB and the energy rate now and everything that's coming into it. It's just between the cost of building now is a lot more than it was even 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so now this is trickling down from the investor who couldn't build a house because when he builds it, it'll be worth less than what it was worth, and it's trickling down to, you know, Mary and John who want a small porch or a little extension or a renovation, and it's costing a quarter of the price of the value of the house to build a small extension.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, they've had to get a 25-year mortgage to clear off the house. So they're going to go back now and extend that just to get an extension, Look, hopefully it comes back down because we don't want this, you know.
No, definitely not.
What justification are they giving for the materials going so expensive?
Just the usual, what was it, supply in the world supply chain is what was on the bottom of it. Lack of production. But I heard now myself that most of the OSB and timber products is all heading to America. That's what two of the main suppliers have told my suppliers. They're shipping it all out because they're getting more money for it, obviously, and that's driving up the price everywhere else.
Right, so it's like, well, if you want it, you can pay the same price these guys are paying for it.
Yeah, I also heard as well, a lot of the plastic and PVC products, how true it is. Well, if you think of the amount of products we use in building that plastic or PVC, I heard a lot of them are made with some byproduct that's made from aviation fuel. And because there's no planes flying that much, there's a shortage of the byproduct of that to make all these things. Like the likes of the Waven sewer pipe, I'm sure most of the lads there now, like a lot of places, the Waven and Balbring, they just can't keep up making it. There's a massive shortage of it. And it's not that they were using that much more. I don't think they can make it quick enough with the shortage of their raw materials.
Yeah, well, all plastic comes from oil of some sort, so you're probably on the money there with that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, look, hopefully it settles down, that's the thing, because, you know, it's scary, isn't it, when you see simple little things becoming unaffordable for no real reason to us, you know?
But you look at OSB there, what was it, in April, 16.38 a sheet I was buying it for plus the VAT, and now I think it's over €30 plus the VAT sheet. Now, some places have had it, 50 quid. But it has basically doubled in the last 3 months.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
That is shocking, like.
So that's in most of your roofs, most of your flat roofs of the tongue roof, most of your attic floors, you'd use, and then your joisting. Your joisting has gone up from 15 something for a 9x2 joist now, and it's 21.80 or something plus the VAT I got a quote for yesterday. So that's gone up €6-7 a length.
There's a lot of lads that aren't as diligent as yourself that are going to get caught out by that, aren't they?
I'd say so.
Definitely, a lot of people get caught out by that. Jesus, man,
Yeah.
that's shocking. And again, the problem is, where does it stop? We don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
No, so I'll be honest with you, Joe. I'll say I've wrote this year off, but with the lockdowns and the price increases and then the delays we're having on jobs with materials where we can't finish the bloody job and get paid, and I'd say there's another lockdown coming by the sounds of things in maybe September, October. That's just I'd say there's something going to happen. This year I kind of said, well, if we get the shop fully finished, we keep treading water, make a few quid and get this year out of the way, and hopefully things level off price-wise, and then even time scale and getting material next February, March. I kind of think that'd be an achievement in itself. I'm happy with that. No point in being unrealistic either.
You know, I think you're doing a good job so far. Yeah, I think you're doing a good job. And the main thing is your head is clued in.
Yeah.
You know where you're at. You know what you're going on, and this is kind of like where you're at now is a combination of what, 3 years work.
Well, we started. The company had no employees in September 2018. We started in October 2018. It's just over 2.5 years. But if you take out the coronavirus lockdowns, we're at about 2 years, just over 2 years.
Yeah.
From nothing basically to where we are. So
it's good going, man.
You know,
you're at the races now nicely. Yeah,
and if the next 2 years it goes at the same level of growth, well then you'd be scary to think of the numbers.
Yes, absolutely. You know, don't keep pushing to take on more men. As I'd say is like, if your target earnings are $500,000, right? My suggestion to yourself, and look, we'll be talking about this on an ongoing basis. My suggestion to yourself would be, don't jeopardise that $500,000 in 12 months for the sake of trying to make $1 million in 12 months. Get your $500,000 and then start the clock again. Next time you might want to get 750 in 12 months. Then the next time you might want to get $1 million. Too many people make the mistake of overextending and overstretching, and then something goes amiss and they just turn back and say, or they turn around and say, I should have just done this part first, you know?
Yeah. Now, my thing, I knew myself for the last 12 months since we took on the new shop and that and the few vans. I knew the infrastructure we had in place regarding vans, diggers, shops, showrooms. We didn't have enough employees to carry it. Well, comfortably. So I kind of always had in my head 18 to 20 employees to spread the cost of the overheads over that. And I kind of said to myself, when I get to that level, get the employees, I'm going to take the foot off the gas in a growth terms, and I'll still try and grow the profitability of the business, but I'm not going to take on an extra 10 lads because I still haven't taken any of my own director's loan back out of the company. I haven't really done, haven't benefited from it. So I said to myself, well, before I go risking it, as you said, to try and make the extra money and grow more, I want to at least take a few quid back and maybe tidy up my own house or maybe buy a slightly bigger house.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you don't need to just keep pushing for expansion unless you're taking some of the rewards yourself. That's just what I'm about, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's great. Now, look, in saying that, everything I do, I just push it back in. But I put my stuff back in to investment as opposed to keep putting it back into a business.
Yes, you're taking it from the Facebook business and putting it into the house.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where we're at as well. When we get leveled off, that's kind of the exact thing I want to do. I want to make the money doing what we're doing and then put it into bricks and mortar or in shares, I suppose. You have a personal share account with the big expenses now. We're getting dividends every month or whatever, but I do believe it's better to go down the road of the houses.
Yeah. I would always say, look, stay the fuck away from anything with stock markets and all that sort of stuff, especially if we're builders and construction minded and a construction background, because there's nothing that we can't deal with, you know. But like, once you finish kind of, getting the business at a point, just the same level of effort to generate the cash, throw it into a couple of deals, you buy them once, you have them forever. That's my kind of view on the whole thing, you know. But now listen, man, this is good result. I think this is the start of a success story, you know, and I'm glad that we got to do this call today, because we'll be able to say, remember, you were only open a few weeks and you were predicting all that. So you know, keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, is there anything else you want to throw in there? Now, we're going to put this out on the podcast, as you know, so don't be afraid to give yourself a plug here. Who can we help you get connected with?
I suppose any tradesman out there who's looking to grow their work profile, give me a shout or grow their business. Carpenters, plumbers, painters. Finding it hard to get painters at the minute. And a couple of decent carpenters, I suppose. So anyone around Dublin, Louth, Meath that's in the group or listening to this, give us a shout.
Yeah, perfect, excellent stuff. And what I'll do is I will put your company name and link in the description here. You know, if you want to shout out your phone number there to the lads, in case anybody's looking, they can just ring you directly, or do you want them to go to send you an email?
Yeah, no, send me an email there.
Yeah, well, sure, you're trying to stay away from the phone, and I'm getting you, getting you more on the phone, and we're trying to stay away from that. But listen, you're fairly responsive on the emails anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, my man. Well, Nicky,
thanks very much for that, Joe.
Pleasure having a catch up with yourself today, and I'll chat to you soon, my friend.
Talk to you then.
See you at the top, my man. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, folks, that concludes another episode of the Tradesman Survival Guide podcast. Don't forget that all of the tactics and strategies discussed in today's podcast are from my book, The Tradesman Survival Guide, which is available to buy online at www.joedoyle.ie/TSG. TSG being, of course, short for The Tradesman Survival Guide.